At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast is now on YouTube. Go on YouTube and search Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast and click that subscribe button to never miss an episode. Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. I am one of your hosts this week, Wrestling Chris G, and on the other line with me this week is the king himself, good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, my man, how you doing today?
Ain't no king, because if I was king, I'd be in control and wouldn't be doing this late.
Hey, you said you were down for
it. Because at this point, it's a 2-1 majority, and I don't want to sound like the asshole.
You know, I was this close to texting in the group. Doug doesn't like late nights. But also joining the group again this week is our good old pal C-Note. So, C-Note, how are you doing? Welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me back. I don't get a nickname, huh? I don't even get like Prince or.
No, it's hard enough for him to come up with mine on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I tend to just introduce the guests because they're already special in their own way anyway. So.
Well, I mean,
that's a good say.
And are you trying to say that it's because of me that we're doing this, Doug? Because I was like, hey, I'm fine with whatever.
Well, I mean, it could be a little bit of you. It could be a little bit of somebody else on this call trying to fucking jerry rig hardware the other day. Or...
So a peek behind the curtain, everybody. We were supposed to record this yesterday. We're actually recording this.
Okay. I was trying to figure out what you meant by that. Okay.
We're recording this on January 28th, and it's currently 11:18 in the evening out here in good old Illinois. And
11:19.
Yeah, now.
I still have 18.
Yeah, I was gonna say I still have 18. But
now it flipped. It flipped, everybody. It flipped. Update, it flipped.
So yesterday we were supposed to record, but good old Wrestling Chris G was putting a new chip into his said computer, so his said computer could upgrade to Windows 11, and was like, what the hell, and got a second laptop, a brand new one that's running Windows 11 as well, and it's nice and quick. It's a brand new HP laptop. So I currently have the two right now, and I'm pretty sure one of these is going to be given to my little one upstairs who's currently sleeping, but we'll see.
I can't make the joke I was going to make because I'll sound like a creep.
You better.
I'm not even going to ask because I was going to say, is that going to be my birthday present next, this coming year? But
I'll tell you off, Mike.
That's Doug saying, I can say this to the two of you, but I'm not going to broadcast this out because everyone's going to be like, oh.
Yeah.
Asking if one computer is going to be my porn computer and one computer is going to be my clean one, Doug?
Yeah, pretty much.
So
just don't get them mixed up.
Oh God, son, I didn't mean for you to see all that. I'm so sorry.
Dad, you gotta clear your history. It's day one stuff.
But all right, everybody.
On the topic of birthdays, since it was brought up, I may have fallen into Wrestling Chris G's. I almost said Christmas birthday gift already.
Oh,
I'm just kind of keeping that in my back pocket and seeing if anything else comes along. But I've got something I think he'll enjoy if I need to go that route.
Oh, look at you! Fucking 5 months ahead.
Wasn't even trying.
oh, he said Wrestling Chris. I thought he said Cena. My bad. I was like, wait a minute. Wait, you got something in mind for me?
I do.
Oh, okay.
But wasn't even
That
looking.
was the wrong thing to say, Doug, because now he's going to harass you for the next
No.
10 months.
No.
He can
we're-
harass me. He can harass me all he wants. He'll never figure it out.
No,
He can
Well, I
harass me.
understand that.
I'll probably never figure it out, but he's also hosting the roast of Wrestling Chris G. Tell me how you really feel. And I'm pretty sure we're landing on the date of June 25th, so that's gonna be fun.
Not the 25th.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
What?
Uh-oh. What's the
Not the
uh-oh?
Not the 25th.
Yes, June 25th.
Shit.
It's a week after Father's Day. I can't do it the week
understand.
before because of Father's Day.
Because of Father's Day. Well, yeah.
So
Father's Day Sunday, and the 25th is a Saturday.
yes, but I can't I can't do it that weekend because then there's going to be a lot of people celebrating the weekend
Oh,
because I was running I ran it by all the presenters and everyone said the 18th is not going to work for me. We're going to have to do it after. And I was like, all right, we'll do it on the 25th.
I wasn't consulted, I'm just saying. And if I'm hosting the son of a bitch, how the hell am I not consulted? I just don't understand.
I wasn't either, so don't feel-
Because your words were, I'll be there.
Well, yeah, it might not have been if it had been Father's Day.
No.
I'm saying I wasn't consulted, and now I feel insulted, which is more fuel to the fire.
Well, there you go. Use it.
Yes, there you go. You use it. Because if it was
Not
the
on
week,
me.
if it was the week before, Doug, you wouldn't have been able to come, and then we would have been like, oh well, shit, I got to find a new host.
Because I didn't run it by him.
Actually, I don't know if I want to be the host, to be honest with you. I don't think
oh, you thought it was going to be you? Oh,
I mean-
I'm joking.
No. I've been thinking of trying like what I want to say and what I want to do, and I thought it was going to be easy. It ain't that easy.
No, it's not. And I have the hardest job of them all because I have to come in at the end and give you all a little nudge too, and then soften the blow. So I got everybody. You guys only have one person. Well, besides Doug. Doug's
Doug's got to do everybody.
Doug's got to give at least one line on everybody before they're coming up.
So that's going to be interesting. But yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun, though, I think.
It is, and we were told
And
that it's a max of 50 people total. So it's going to be a nice small crowd, but it's going to be recorded, and there's going to be
50
3
people
cameras.
is small?
What?
I said 50 is small?
You haven't seen my wife's family, so
Well,
Yes, he has.
Yes, I have.
well, he hasn't seen all her family.
Was it your wedding?
Again, yes, he has.
Okay.
Anyways.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm just that is true when you're talking to Steph's family. Yeah, 50 is kind of small, but
What are
So
you trying to say, Chris?
she has a big family. I'm married a Hispanic
Exactly.
woman.
got a big family.
Huge
That's all I'm
family.
trying to say. Don't try to stir no shit, Doug.
but no, on a real note, it's going to be a special night, and I'm sure everyone is going to be everyone is going to enjoy that night, and I'm sure some people want to hear some of it.
Yeah, I think you guys should like do that as a special episode.
I don't think it'll.
Since you are recording it.
I'm not sure if I'm going to put that on the Pokemon Network because there ain't nothing Pokemon about it.
Well,
but I'm sure there'll be an audio version because the microphone will be hooked up to the computer, so and the speaker. So, but yeah, there'll be 3 cameras. That will be inside. One to the audience, one to me on the sofa with my wife, and one up where everybody is performing, I guess.
All right.
All right, but all right, let's get on into this. Otherwise, we're never gonna finish this episode. Today's episode is episode 79, and it's titled "The Fourth Round Rumble," or translated from Japanese, "Grassfield Unexpected Rival." In this episode. Doug is not a fan. This episode premiered January 1st, 1999 in Japan, and here in the States, November 13th, 1999. And I was told that I am going first. Doug, you're going second, and our guest C-Note actually has one, and he is going third this week. But for my date, on November 13th, 1940, Walt Disney's animated film Fantasia makes its debut on Broadway Theater in New York City. Wow. You know, I've never seen the Broadway, but I've seen I believe it's the film. They have a whole like animated cartoon film of this, and I remember watching it, and like I wasn't a big fan of like music, which is what I believe this Broadway theater play was. Yeah. Okay.
It's basically no like talking. It's all like instrumental.
Yeah, it's all instrumental. So yeah, okay. So that's what I saw. So I've seen it. It's about and now that I've confirmed it, this is the one where Mickey Mouse is going through all these musical acts, and he loses his hat, and you get the big finale at the end where he becomes a wizard, and he's conducting all these instruments and everything. Looking at it now, I thoroughly enjoy it. But watching it back when I was a little kid, I didn't understand it and was like, what the hell is this crap? But yeah, that's my date for this. And being a Broadway fan, and I'm trying to get my wife to go to New York with me to go see this Harry Potter play out there. But with COVID running rampant, she don't want to go. So right.
I'd say that I blame her.
Somebody could have gone to New York with me a couple of years ago, but they
hey now, they
decided to not do that. But I mean, whatever.
We decided to have a baby.
Who you subsequently called an asshole?
Yes, I did. My daughter was being a little asshole.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
But all right, so that was my date, and Doug, I believe yours is 2002 in November 13th.
On this date in 2002, I gotta find the fucking tab. There it is. Eminem.
Wait a minute. If you're 2002, then I should be second because I was 2007.
No, you're last. It goes in 1940, 2002, and then 2000.
Okay, yeah, my bad. Okay. Shut up, Cena. Okay, go on, Doug.
Hush up back there.
I'll be quiet. Go on.
I'll be quiet.
It's going to be 3.5 hours, and it's your fault. On this date in 2002, Eminem releases the lead single "Lose Yourself."
Ooh.
The film 8 Mile, which I have never seen all the way through.
You've never seen the whole thing of 8 Mile?
Never seen the whole thing.
Wait a minute.
I have either.
Oh, I love that movie.
I mean, it's a banger of a song, but I've never seen, and I mean, I've seen like the rap battle sequence.
Well, spoiler. I mean, he gets recognized at the end.
I understand that. I mean, I understand that, but I'm just saying, I don't think I've ever. In fact, I know I've never sat down and watched it all the way through.
Oh, okay.
But it was a banger of a song, and I believe I've listened to the soundtrack a few times through, and
You better
it's
lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow, 'cause opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself. Oh, I love that song.
I think we're gonna get a copyright strike just out of.
No, I think he was still good because what is it? You can say so much of it before you have to pay copyright.
Oh, and he was probably off key anyway.
Yeah, just a tad.
But yeah, so Eminem, that was his one like starring role. He's done like little cameos here and there. Still putting out music. So,
Yeah, which surprises me that he's still out there putting out music, because he doesn't advertise his stuff anymore.
No, he doesn't. Here's a full 20-track album.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Here goes 2 hours of my day.
Yeah, basically. And it's still good, so
So, C-Note.
All right. So mine's a little more personal than your guys's, but that's okay. So 2007. This date was the day that it all my chore of being a father began. No, my daughter was not and I could just see my kid listening to this and be like, I think she's thinking I forgot her birthday. No, technically,
I would hope she's not listening to this.
Yeah, probably not true, but
and if she is, she probably only made it past the contest announcement anyway. So
yeah,
I don't even think she made it up to that.
Yeah, probably not. But
yeah, I think you should put
this out or not. God damn it!
I think you should put a timestamp on that just in case people see the runtime and go, "Fuck."
Yeah. So this was the day, 2007, that my wife went into. My wife at the time, ex-wife now, went into labor with our first child.
Aww. That's awesome.
Do I feel old now that she's 14?
14 and all love it, right?
Yeah.
So, aw, that's cute. Love it. So, people, you guys clicked on this episode to hear our review and our rundown of this. Let me ask everybody, does everybody have the episode up and on mute?
Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to do that.
You go on Pokemon.com, because I'm going to start the episode like I normally do. And then I will shoot it off to Doug, and then I'll shoot it off to you, and we'll just have a revolving door of us reviewing this episode. So go ahead and go on Pokemon, put it on mute, put the captions on, and I will start this week's episode.
Okay. Well, you're going to give me a minute now, because it took me a little bit to figure out how to play it in the first place. So
You're good. I'm sure by the time we get to you, you'll have the episode up.
Or the episode will be over. 601, really.
So, all right, everyone. So we start this week's episode with fireworks, and it's the first week within a few weeks that we have not gotten a replay of what happened last week, because I think they learned their lesson. Oh, these SOBs are freaking, they're not even watching the episodes. They're just waiting till the following week, watching the first 5 minutes and then just turning it off. I can find out what happens next week. But we start this week with two trainers, one being Gary. Gary, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. And another trainer on the is it on the red side this time?
Oh, Gary's on the
Yeah, Gary's on red, and then we have Melissa on the green side, the trainer that he's fighting. And Gary has his Needle King out, Melissa has her Golem out. And they are both down to their final Pokemon. And we also get noted that Ash, Misty, and Brock are in the stands, and sitting right next to them is Gary's cheerleaders, which I think is pretty funny. Like they take up a whole section in itself.
Yes.
So, all right, everybody. So the battle is underway, and Misty is concerned, and she's like, I wonder if Gary's actually going to win this. And something tells me Gary has been kind of choking this battle. I mean, even though they're down to 1-1 Pokemon, they look concerned about what's going on. And Brock is like, yeah, this Melissa is pretty tough. We have Needle King and we have Golem, and they're staring at each other and they're sweating. And Gary goes, Needle King, horn attack. So Needle King goes in for the charge, and Golem catches him right by the horn. And Golem just goes whack. It picks him up by his horn, which I know has to hurt, jumps all the way into the air, and then comes crashing down onto the ground. And Gary's like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened? Well,
no, he say that. This is a kid's show.
But that was the expression on his face.
Well, okay, but he didn't.
Oh, fuck.
And Golem is sitting right on top of Needle King like, I owned your ass. And freaking Needle King is knocked out. The announcer goes, the battle goes to Melissa, puts up the green flag, and the crowd starts cheering for Melissa. And we cannot believe it, but Gary has lost the 4th round. Doug, you want to continue this?
Right, I have a few issues. First of all, Melissa called for a seismic toss, and if I'm sitting here, that damn Golem did a pile driver.
Yeah, that did not look like a we've seen a seismic toss, but a seismic toss, don't you have to grab him by the belly and jump up and smash him down on the ground?
Right.
Okay.
And in the end, when they land and we see that Golem is on top of Needle King, and the referee calls the match for Melissa, I take issue with Needle King being called out because Golem still has a hold of him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can tell Needle King wasn't getting up.
Well, yeah, but Muhammad Ali didn't knock a motherfucker out and put his foot on his chest while the referee was doing the standing 8 count.
Well, how could he put his foot on his chest as you're doing a standing 8 count?
This is true. He didn't put his foot on his chest while the referee counted him out to 10.
There you go.
So I call shenanigans, really, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like in a last man standing match. John Cena didn't hit an FU to Ali off that car and then go down and sit on him for 10 seconds.
I mean, if we're pulling teeth, he also didn't put Ryback into the ambulance during their match that day through the doors.
No, he put him through it.
He put him through the roof.
We could also point out that he duct taped Batista to the turnbuckle in that one match as well. So I mean,
yeah.
So yeah, the referee calls the match for Melissa. There's confetti, the crowd's cheering. Gary falls to his knees in the podium, like somebody took out his kneecap, and the cheering section is doing ugly Charlie Brown crying.
Yeah,
And-
that's what I was thinking. It was kind of like the old Charlie Brown faces.
And Brock, Misty, and Ash are all stunned, and one of them says, "Boy, Ash, you might really be fucked if Gary's losing." And then we get the title sequence.
And I think that's kind of funny, Doug, because I mean we're soon going to well actually continue. My comment's going to come after this next part of the scene.
So then we see a dejected Gary walking to his convertible. The women are in there; they're still bawling their eyes out, and I kind of felt for Ash here because he approaches Gary, and he's gonna it was gonna be a heartfelt moment, and he was like, "Oh, hey Gary," and Gary turned around, and he's like, that trainer got lucky that I got distracted by all the women cheering for me, and Ash looks over and the girls are still sobbing, and there's a couple consoling each other, and Gary's like, they'll be all right. Buck up, girls. You'll get over it. And then they all in unison do the Charlie Brown cry. And Gary's like, well, shit, I really stepped in it there. And he hops in his car, and his
driver,
his wordless driver, just speeds off, and the girls are crying, and Ash and Pikachu are left kind of standing there dumbfounded.
Just a little bit. And okay, so I have to ask. So it was at this point where Ash thought that he was going to actually thought that he could just quit because of Gary. And what type of trainer is he? Are you this kind of made Ash seem like he's more of a follower than he is a leader. And I didn't like that.
He is very there's a transitive property kind of going on. He's like, well, I could never beat Gary, and if Gary got knocked out, and these are the type of trainers that I'm going to face in the the fourth round onwards. If Gary's getting beat, what kind of chance do I have if I can't even beat Gary? So he's kind of doing some mental math, and he's tying himself in knots. But we've seen in previous episodes, Ash can go from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows within the span of like 5 minutes.
Yep. So, and then and Cino, no, I have not forgotten about you. I'm getting ready to pass it right over to you. But this is when Brock comes over and he's like, "You're not quitting on my watch, Ash. You've done all this training, and you're gonna go in here. You're gonna win this thing." And that's when Misty comes out and goes, "Ash, your match is about to start on the grass field." And I'm gonna.
This is horseshit. This is. I know we should switch over, but this is horseshit. How does he not know that he's about to have a match?
I think he did, but I think he was trying to get one last word in with Gary before he was leaving.
That's horseshit. He should be back there. He should be in the tunnel, not training, but he should be in the tunnel doing wind sprints or whatever the fuck, or making his final decisions on his Pokemon. I mean, what the fuck? How the fuck?
Because she's yelling, "Your match is about to start." He's like, "What? No way! Shit!"
Yeah, he didn't know.
I gotta hightail it over there. That looks like it's a pretty good, run too, from where he is to where he needs to get.
For real.
It's like somebody knocks on Joe Burrow's hotel room door on Sunday morning, going, "Hey, you have a game." He goes, "No, that's next week." Like, what the fuck,
This is like Goldberg, the guy banging on the door, and he's making his long walk to the ring.
Oh, you didn't know you had a match?
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm gonna bang my head on lockers and bust me open before I even get out there.
I'm gonna concuss myself. Yeah.
So, all right, C note. Take us through this scene with Team Rocket.
All right, so I'm starting to like Team Rocket. I don't know if it's just the rhyming or what, but so we got Team Rocket. They got a little good shop set up, and they're selling all kinds of Pokemon souvenirs and stuff like that. It looks like, and of course Meowth gets a little annoyed. He's like, "Hey, don't forget we're here to, our whole plan is to, to steal some Pokemon, not to sell Poke crap." And so that's or Poke junk, excuse me. And they're like, it's not junk.
Poke crap does sound better though. I'm not gonna lie.
I understand, but again, kids show, but and I love this. Jesse's like, "Oh, this is so simple," and then boom, the victory bell just goes and takes a big old chomp on his head. And it's like, gets to show that you ring up lots of sales. It's takes a toll on you, where even a victory bell can kind of take you out.
That was a good line.
Yeah, it was. I watching the few episodes that I've kind of watched, it seems like Meowth always has the pretty good lines, or Jesse or James, one of the two.
Meowth is the smart one of the group.
Yeah, and it seems like he always has the the good lines. And then we get somebody that comes up and says, "Oh, do you have any of those Poke badges left?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry, we're all sold out." Meowth goes, "Wait, I think I have one more in the back."
Official Pokemon badges. They're selling replicas of Pokemon badges. Everybody,
yeah, it's fake badges made out of bottle caps.
Bottle caps, yeah.
And yeah, I don't think Jesse and James are very happy about that. And then we kind of jump to the field. And we're getting ready for Ash's match.
All right. Thank you, C-Note. So right here, Ash is rising up from the ground, and he's on the green side, and they're like, "The green trainer from Pallet, Ash Ketchum." And Brock and Misty are like, "Yeah, Ash can't lose. Ash is not going to let us down. But it's not like we're down there this time. We can't even coach him from the sidelines." And Brock is like, "Ash just wants to prove that he can win this all by himself," which is what I said in last week's episode. That was kind of horseshit that they were down there coaching him through a Pokemon League fight.
Yeah, he'd have been dragged on Twitter if that was a thing.
Yeah, for real. So, but Misty throws out that if she was Ash, she would choose Bulbasaur first because they're on a grass field, and Bulbasaur is a grass Pokemon. But Misty then asks Brock, who is he battling against? And this is when it gets funny. Brock looks at the flyer. He's like, "The program just says her name is Jeanette Fisher." He's like, "Huh. She must be pretty tough to make it this far." And then we get a big red carpet. So she's not even coming up from the ground like Ash did. So I'm gonna kind of hype this up. In the red corner, coming out from a red carpet, she has people throwing flowers behind her. And here she is.
Cheering section.
What's up?
She has her own cheering section.
Yeah, for real.
Yes, she does, yeah.
And it's a very pretty girl with purple hair. And as soon as she comes out, she's like, "I am honored to be here." And Brock is like, "I'm sure she sure knows how to make an entrance." And he's all flustered just looking at her.
Immediately gets a hard on. Just immediate.
He's like, oh my gosh, she's beautiful, man. Ash should have had us down there on the sideline so I could get a closer view of her. So
Me? Wrong.
and then we get a look at Jeanette's cheering section, and she has a cheering section just like Gary did, but hers is filled with what looks like cheerleaders and men doing karate. And then they got like posters up with a big V on it that for her name, and I was like, oh, look at that.
Wait a minute. I'm not going to let that go. Where's the V in Jeanette?
Right.
For victory.
That's not what you said.
Oh, my bad. They have a big V for victory because
V is silent.
because they're cheering victory for Jeanette. And Misty is like, man, she has a whole cheering section, and all Ash has is us over here on the sidelines. And Brock goes, yeah, Jeanette, she should win. And Misty gets mad. You're here for Ash, not Jeanette. Whose side are you on anyway? And
She got really pissed at him.
Doug, I'm gonna give this next part to you as she is rising up on the red side.
So as Misty projected, Ash throws out Bulbasaur, and then Jeanette has a nice quip of, well, my Pokemon is going to create quite a buzz, and she throws out a Beedrill. And
that's a good Pokemon. That's a good starter Pokemon. I'm just throwing that out there.
That is really good. And then Jeanette gets first attack and immediately goes for a tackle with Beedrill, and Bulbasaur is able to dodge it, and Ash sends out Razor Leaf, and Beedrill is able to avoid the leaves and
with Twin Needle,
and is trying to use Twin Needle, and Bulbasaur's dodging, and then what is she?
Poison
Sting. Thing, and then so Bulbasaur is immediately on his back foot, almost literally. He's just dodging. And
Beedrill's trying to literally like kill Bulbasaur with her freaking stinger.
And freaking Misty's like, well, damn, if this is her first Pokemon, she must have some real heavy hitters coming up. And you can tell Brock is either focused or horny or maybe a little bit of both, because he's sitting there and he's flustered, and he's like, and he matter of factly just goes, I really hope she doesn't have a boyfriend.
And Misty just cuts him down right at the dick, and it's like, well, there's no way that boyfriend is gonna be you.
And so we're back in the battle, and Bulbasaur is still backpedaling, and Ash, for no reason, goes, well, she's winning clearly because Bulbasaur is on defense, and Bulbasaur stops and tells Bulbasaur stops, and Ash tells him to use Leech Seed.
Yes.
And it hits the Beedrill right on the stinger, and the vines come out and zap Beedrill down to the ground. And Misty's like, what a move. And Brock's got tears in his eyes. And she's like, would you knock that shit off? And Bulbasaur just hits one tackle, and the Beedrill's out of there. And everybody's up on their feet. Even Togepi's cheering its little eggy heart out. And Brock's just sitting there like, well, one down, should be all right.
And I want to point out, I like the way that they did this Leech Seed, Doug, because the way that it happens in the game is it absorbs the power of the Pokemon that you're attacking, and then gives your Pokemon some more life. And the way that they animated this is that as it's sucking out all the energy out of Beedrill, it actually unsnaps itself from that Pokemon and goes back into Bulbasaur, then giving Bulbasaur all the nutrients that it needs and the energy that it sucked out of Beedrill. I love that.
Nice little touch.
Yes. So, and this is when she's like, no way. And Ash is like, hell yeah. So, so C note, I'm going to have you take this next part of the scene.
All right. So basically, Beedrill, it's, he's defeated, and she calls on, is it Scyther?
Scyther.
Okay. And
who is a major player in Pokemon Arceus, who gets a new evolved form, by the way. Just wanted to note that.
And he kind of, I think he kind of looks like a praying mantis. It's, I think, what they're going with here of what he's supposed to look like.
Yes.
And Ash is like, oh, Scyther, whoa. Like, okay, it's going to be 1-1 here in a minute, probably. And the battle begins, and it's slash attack, and it's just slash. Bulbasaur's kind of just like on the back, and then it's just quick dodging. Attack. And he's just dodging everything, and bouncing all over the place. And
the way they animated this quick attack right before you continue was awesome, because in the video game, quick attack is basically a fast tackle. The way that they animated quick attack on the anime in this episode is that Scyther was trying to use slash, and she said quick attack, and then he just took his slash move that he was doing and just does it very quick, which is like whipping a bunch of like razor like wind over at Bulbasaur to try to hurt him. I thought that was fucking awesome. There's a lot of good animation in this.
And he was catching a couple of those shots in the face, and I mean, they made note of a couple of them landing, but he was keeping with it for the most part.
Yeah, for real. But all right, so you can continue, and we have Bulbasaur going in for a Vine Whip.
Yeah, so Ash goes Vine Whip, and then she tells Scythe to cut the Vine Whip, and then all of a sudden he turns into 1 becomes 3.
Yes, and he started using Double Team. They didn't announce that, so I know you wouldn't know. But Scyther has now used Double Team on Bulbasaur.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and we've got commercial, and it's who's that Pokemon, or what's that Pokemon, or whatever.
Who's that Pokemon? Who is this?
Flower. Bellsprout.
Yes.
And now we're back, and we've got the 3 Scythers kind of staring down. We got everybody cheering. Everybody's getting excited. We got the big V up there again for Jeanette. And Bulbasaur is looking a little freaked out. Ash has got a little bit of a worried look on his face. He's like, Bulbasaur, Vine Whip, now. And, of course, the Vine Whip goes at the wrong guy. And then again, wrong guy. And then Scyther comes and attacks Bulbasaur. And Scyther kind of cuts through him. He got some more fighting back and forth. Bulbasaur is going to get mowed down, we think. And then Ash all of a sudden goes, wait a minute. Bulbasaur, was it Vine Whip again?
Razor Leaf.
Oh, Razor Leaf. And Razor Leaf, and then the Vine Whip again, and he's like, no, Bulbasaur, look out. And then Bulbasaur's looking all over, like, where'd he go? And Ash is like, wait, use your Vine Whip against all 3. He's like, oh! And then he misses the first 2, but then he grabs the 3rd one. and I guess the double team kind of messes with your defenses, and
Yes.
Scyther's done.
So yes,
I have
Bulbasaur has
issues
taken
again.
out.
I have issues again.
Okay,
Oh.
what's up, Doug?
So he hits him
Oh,
with
my
the,
description.
with the show. You're doing fine.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I would even say more than fine, considering we basically threw you right in the middle of a battle-heavy episode. So
I mean,
Bulbasaur hit. So Bulbasaur hits the deciding Vine Whip, right?
Yes.
The force of the Vine Whip takes Scyther down to the ground, right?
Yes.
Bulbasaur's vines stay on top of Scyther, pinning him down until the exact moment the referee's flag goes up, indicating the round's over.
Yes.
oh, jeez.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's another golem, isn't it?
It's bullshit, is what it is.
Well, I think they're going with the Pokemon's not moving anymore.
He could be
He's back.
playing possum.
But I will second your defense, Doug, because we do not get the knocked out eyes neither on Nidoking or on Scyther. Scyther just had his eyes closed. We did not get the I'm done with this battle eyes.
So shenanigans.
Yes. But all right, so I'll take it from here. So Misty and Brock are looking at each other and they're like, "Oh, Ash might actually have a full sweep victory in the fourth round. His Bulbasaur is doing great." And they're like, and Brock's like, "Yeah, well, I wonder if that was her first two Pokemon. She must have a killer as her final Pokemon." And he's like, "But you know what? I believe in you. Go, Ash." And Ash is
now that you're up 2-0.
His heart on went away.
I'm not attracted to a loser.
So Ash
He
is
was doing
getting
something else while she was getting beaten.
Oh, stop it.
Oh boy.
I mean, hey.
I mean, he toot his own horn, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ash is really, really stoked right now. He's like, 2 down, 1 to go. I'm about to win this thing. And then we get Team Rocket's balloon flying over the stadium, and they have a whole bunch of what looks like Pikachu inflatable balloons. Well, we find out Team Rocket's actually not inside of the balloon. They're on the ground, and it looks like they have a huge vacuum. Well, they do have a vacuum because he says our Pokevac is ready, and he's like, now let's let them have it. And the balloon is going across the Pokemon stadium, and that's when 2 Officer Jennies and 1 Growlithe take one look over there, and they're like, "Hey, look, that's Team Rocket's balloon." And then they're like, they must be up to no good. And I had a problem.
I have issue. I have big problem.
Because Officer Jenny looks right over at Growlithe.
That's a Growlithe is if as clear as I'm sitting here, that's a Growlithe.
That is a Growlithe. They say Arcanine Flamethrower. And
that is what it is.
I mean, when I guess that must be Growlithe's nickname, because when he evolves, they don't have to give him a new nickname. But Growlithe does its flamethrower and completely burns down Team Rocket's balloon. And from there, a whole bunch of people get some free Pikachu balloons. And Team Rocket's like, "Oh shit." And they're like, "Quick, start the vacuum." And James is like, "All right, it's not working. Whatever it is, it's getting a ticket." And freaking you see 2 more Officer Jennies right behind him, and you see a big old Pokeball, which is what is being used what they were going to use to suck in the Pokemon into the vacuum. But Officer Jenny has unplugged it. Meowth is like, oh shit, the cops. And both Officer Jennies are like, stop, in the name of the law. And Team Rocket is scurrying away as Officer Jennies are chasing them. They chase Team Rocket into the stadium, even though they were running out of the stadium. I did not understand that too much because the animation was clearly out of the stadium. But now they're back in the stadium, and Meowth trips, and Team Rocket trips over Meowth. They go flying into what looks like, I believe it's a hot dog stand, and they pick up the outfits and they pretend to be selling hot dogs. Doug.
Yes. So Jesse says, I've got hot dogs, get them while they're red hot. And James says, I've got ice cream, get it while it's cold. Or as the caption says, get it while it's gold. And then we're back to the battle, which I did appreciate that this didn't interrupt the flow of the battle. Like nobody's even batting an eye. And, obviously we know that Jeanette's down to one Pokemon, and Misty's really into it now. She's like, one more, and then we can go get something to eat. We can move on. You'll be in the 5th round, and then she kind of has a brief crisis of thought for a second. She's like, well, this will probably be her strongest Pokemon, but you're doing good so far. So I mean, what the hell? And Togepi's happy, and Brock's like, he must be feeling pretty confident that he can beat any Pokemon that Jeanette throws out. And just like the Who's That Pokemon, we see that her final Pokemon is a Bellsprout, and the entire stadium gasps in unison. And we see a tiny little Bellsprout standing in front of Bulbasaur, and everybody starts spiking the football and popping the champagne, and she must have ran out of strong Pokemon. And
Ash, for what he doesn't know.
And Ash has a great line. I mean, obviously it blows up in his face immediately. He goes, "This is about to be the shortest match in Pokemon League history," and he says, Bulbasaur just use a tackle, and Bellsprout does basically the Bellsprout version of a judo flip, and
all Matrix-like too.
Exactly, and drops poor Bulbasaur straight on his head, and heed. And then we get a shot of the cheerleaders, and Bulbasaur is pissed off at this point, so he charges at Bellsprout, and Bellsprout gives him the old the heave-ho, and chucks Bulbasaur again, and Bellsprout's kind of feeling itself, and Brock kind of puts what's happening in context, and he says Bellsprout's taking all the energy and inertia of Bulbasaur's attacks and using it against him, and basically Bellsprout walks over to Bulbasaur and does the old Bam Bam attack from the Flintstones. Just bang, bang, bang,
bam, bam, bam. And freaking Jeanette, she's like, it looks like your boba has a sore, and she just starts laughing.
Bellsprout chucks Bulbasaur into Ash's podium, and Bulbasaur's out. And
let's be real, Bulbasaur shouldn't have been in the 3rd round. I mean, he should have swapped Pokemon out as soon as he saw. As soon as Bulbasaur won the 2nd round, because he has 2 more Pokemon. He should have just easily have called back Bulbasaur.
Yeah, Pikachu hits 1 Thundershock and it's out of here.
Well, so we thought. All right, so C note. Bulbasaur is out of here. here comes Pikachu, and you want to go over Pikachu's round?
Sure. Yeah. So all right. So Ash is like, okay, Pikachu, it's up to you now, and Pikachu, he's all all right. He's all hulking up a little bit, and Pika, he's no problem. He's got this. And they kind of stand up, and he's like, Pikachu, Thundershock. And he's like, Pikachu! And the Bellsprout just does these little dances around everything. And then Bellsprout shoots out the little razor leaves. And Pikachu dodges them as they like cut through the rocks. And then it's Thundershock again, and Pikachu... And Ash thinks, there we go, that's it, this is over. And then we're like, no, Bellsprout has these little, is it lightning bolt absorbers or something on his...
It's using it's using nature to absorb, because Bellsprout is a plant. And basically a plant can absorb any type of shock, especially when it comes from lightning, to keep itself stabilized.
Is that how it worked in the game?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, yeah, you not even in Arceus. I mean, you get hit. They even made fucking Paris like a fucking dick. Freaking this little tiny Paris just jumps out of the damn grass and just goes whack. And I'm like, and it will attack you. And I'm like, gosh darn. I was like, man, this sucks. But yeah. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Why am I feeling like you didn't say gosh darn? You probably used a different term. But okay. So everyone's kind of realizing, well, Pikachu's Thunderbolt attack is no good. We're like, I think we might be screwed here. So Ash better get, thinking quick. So then Pika's like, all right, he's got his, doing the Muhammad Ali boxing thing with Pika, and does a little flip, and Bellsprout dodges him, and then, it's just basically kind of back and forth. Pika's trying to do everything he can, and Bellsprout's just like, yeah, okay, dodge this, dodge that, and then whack right on top of the head with the branch, and it's a garden variety attack. And Pikachu is out.
Knocked colder than a banker's heart.
So, and it's pretty funny, and I know I'll tell you, I'll have you guys tell what I'm sending you in the group chat right now, but it plays into this next scene.
Look, you really shouldn't be looking at that when we're doing the podcast.
No, it's funny, trust me. So so Pikachu is knocked out, and after Pikachu gets knocked out, Pikachu can't even get called back into a Pokeball because Pikachu don't use a Pokeball. But it does go, and Ash has to run down there, grab Pikachu, place Pikachu next to the podium so Pikachu can rest. And we see Professor Oak and Ash's mom coming into the stands. And they're like, oh, you guys are here. Did you guys hear about what happened to Gary? And Professor Oak is like, yeah, I heard, but it'll do Gary good to see that everything can't be perfect for him.
Yeah, every once in a while you need to get kicked in the dick.
So from here, okay, right before I go into the scene, all right, you guys should have gotten it.
I ain't got nothing.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Oh, darn.
Oh, I got it. Wait, I got it.
I don't have anything. Oh.
You need to quit with that shit. I won't stand for it.
Tell our audience what I just sent you.
It's like people out there saying that Pete Davidson's only getting with all these good-looking girls because they're connected with the Illuminati, and he wants to find out the inside scoop of 9/11. For goodness sakes.
Come on, tell our audience what I just sent you.
Basically, it's more propaganda furthering the Mrs. Ketchum and Professor Oak are smashing.
It's a meme, everybody, and it's a picture of Professor Oak and a picture of Professor Oak thinking about Mrs. Ketchum, and he's like, it says, Professor Oak, is your mom still single? And Ash going, yes, and then Professor Oak going, go and catch every Pokemon out there.
Must have been so funny you sent it twice.
Yeah.
So so we go from that and we see that Ash has thrown out a muck. And
His muck.
yes, his muck. And they're like, he when did I didn't know he had muck with him. And Professor Oak is like, Ash thought he might need muck during this match, so he called me yesterday and asked me to transport it here. So my question is, who did he give up to get muck? But we never find out.
We never find out. Well, he shouldn't have to.
True.
Because he's been operating. Well, no, actually, yeah, he has to now because
he had called in his other Pokemon the last episode.
Yeah, he had called in Krabby,
which would take up his 6th spot. So he probably sent Krabby back.
well, Kingler.
Kingler, yeah, he probably sent Kingler back just to get his muck because he's like, I'm not changing. He should have sent Charizard over there. Professor Oak would have had a field day with Charizard.
Yeah, maybe he would have straightened him out.
Maybe he would have won the Pokemon League. But all right.
Oak gives Misty gives too much credit to Ash, and she goes, he must have known that Muck would have an advantage over grass types. I don't think Ash is that deep a thinker.
But I think Ash probably did think about that. Because he's going out onto a grass field and he probably looked up who he's going to be facing and found out that she has a bunch of grass type Pokemon.
That's horseshit. He didn't even know his battle was coming up. So how the hell do you expect him to know who he's facing?
True. And so we're back with Ash and he's like, okay, ready, Muck? And they're like, match, begin. And freaking Jeanette goes, flying muck kick. And Bellsprout just jumps up and does like the karate kick and the foot right through Muck. Doesn't even phase him. Just
doesn't even blink.
Muck is like, what did you just do? I feel violated. And then I was like, now Muck is absorbing the energy of Bellsprout's attack, and Bellsprout just pops out Bellsprout, and Bellsprout's looking at him and just starts kicking Muck, and Muck is like, what the fuck are you doing? And Bellsprout is just getting pissed and just stomping him on the head, kicking him on the face, and freaking Muck is just absorbing every last blow to the point where freaking Bellsprout goes in and tries to fling Muck over its shoulder, and Muck just flop. And Muck is like, I'm back.
I'm all right. And then Bellsprout throws out a couple of razor leaves and they go in and they bounce right back. And then Ash calls for the final blow. He says, body slam, and Muck just towers over this Bellsprout, and we get the big comedy, one eye big, one eye small, as we see the shadow of Muck just envelop this Bellsprout. And I mean, you're just talking just wah, and when we see Bellsprout's kicking and kicking and kicking and kicking, one final kick, and then Bellsprout falls silent, and everybody's kind of sitting there, and we're looking, and Muck gets up, and we see that Bellsprout has the comedy X over the one eye that's facing upward, and lets out one final bell, and the referee calls it, and Ash wins.
and got further
By a
than
final-
Gary did in the Pokemon League.
Yeah, so anything else that happens now is icing on the cake.
And those are the eyes, C-Note, that we should have gotten for both Nidoking and for Scyther.
Scyther.
Yeah.
And we did not. But yeah, I see Doug's point, and I'm behind you, Doug.
And you'll notice that the referee waited for Muck to get up before he called the battle.
Well, he couldn't see
couldn't
Bell's
see Bell's
Proud.
Well,
he had to.
Didn't stop him when Golem had a hold of Nidoking's horn and was standing on top of him.
That is true.
Yeah.
And we got a whole bunch of confetti, and everyone is clapping, and Ash runs over to Muck, and Muck gives him a big old hug, and Muck I guess doesn't smell anymore. Well, I guess we found out in his episode that he controls how bad he smells.
Yeah.
So, C-Note,
And-
you want to finish off the last of the episode?
Sure. Yeah, so Ash wins, he goes over and gives Muck a hug, and Ash is like, now I understand how Bellsprout felt. Muck's basically, on top of him, everybody's laughing, they're happy. And Jeanette is, I'm very proud of you, Bellsprout, and she carries him off very proudly, and then they're backstage, or I don't know, because we're back with James and Jesse, and they feel that maybe they're better off being hot dog vendors or whatnot, because it seems pretty profitable. And Meowth doesn't think too much about that. And they're going to call it Jesse's and James's. Want a burger and fries? Make it double. And hunger and thirst, and all these rhymes that
We basically get a twist on the motto.
Yes.
Right, exactly. And so then we end up in backstage, locker room, wherever, and everybody's like, "Oh, Ash, you did really well. Good thinking of bringing Muck in." And Muck's sitting there, and then Muck goes and hugs what's her face? What's her name?
Misty.
God damn it. Lucky bastard, but and he's like, "Stop it, quit, Muck, stop." And yeah, he's just going at it. He looks like me. He's like humping her a little bit or something.
Well,
And-
I do, because you're probably going to get hammered with comments, because that's how our audience is. Misty is 10 in the cartoon.
He didn't know that.
I know he didn't, but
Yeah.
you know how our community is, Doug. So I wanted to point that out to you, because I know you didn't know, and I didn't know for the longest time either. But yeah, Misty is 10 in this season of Pokemon.
I don't remember ever seeing girls look like that when they were 10.
Neither did I.
Maybe they grow up a lot quicker in Japan.
It's the hormones in the milk these days.
For real.
I guess, okay. But yeah, so that's basically it. Ash wins at Indigo Stadium, and what's it going to take to become the Pokemon Master? And we're going to have to find out later. To be continued. And then we get Pikachu Jukebox.
Yes.
Which we don't cover, thankfully.
Yeah. It's the same songs week in and week out. But all right. Well, how did you guys enjoy this week's episode? I'm going to start with you, Doug. On your Dougometer, how many stars would you give this week's episode?
I'm gonna go 4.5. Usually, that final half a star on the 4 is reserved for like an evolution or a caught Pokemon, but when you get down to brass tacks, there was legitimate battles in this episode. Freaking Bulbasaur and Drill were literally going shot for shot, and then you had Bulbasaur and what was the second Pokemon?
Ash,
Scyther.
Scyther. It was Scythe. Well,
Yeah, no, it was no, I got it. It was so you had I mean, you had legitimate like 1v1 battles going on, and then you had Pikachu at one point giving up the fact that it's electric and literally throwing hands with the Bellsprout, and Muck came in and played hero. I mean, yeah, I mean this was a 4.5. I mean, who knows if Team Rocket had been maybe a little funnier or maybe features just a little bit more, you might have hit a 5. But yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with 4.5.
all right. C note.
Yeah. So, I think I'm going to give it a 4.3. No.
Oh,
Doug would have choked you.
I'd like to see him try.
yeah.
No, I kind of agree with Doug. It was a good episode. Yeah. Good amount of battle between everyone. It had some suspense because is Ash gonna sweep this thing and go 3-0, and then oops, no, he got a little overconfident. Now, is he gonna lose? Even though it's like I think everybody's like how is the main character of the show gonna lose in the 4th round? But we're kids, we're naive, maybe but yeah, it was some suspense, and I actually think Jesse and James were pretty comical in this one, and Meowth too. So yeah, I think I kind of go with Doug too, like a 4.5.
All right. And I'm gonna kind of follow you guys. I do agree 4.5 is good for this episode. The only thing that would have kicked it up further would be probably like you said, Doug, a nice evolution or a brand new Pokemon. But outside of that, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode as well. I mean, this episode, and I mean, as we got all 3 rounds with Ash, but not only that, but we got the ending sequence with Gary. So we had Gary in this episode. We got Team Rocket that played a substantial part in this episode. And you kind of forget that with all the action, but then we had action of all 3 rounds. They didn't skip anything. It's not like we faded to black and come back and we're in the 3rd round like we did last week. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. This was a good way to end this week with our episode, because I believe I have a feeling how next week's episode is going to be, if I remember correctly. I don't even think we get a round next week, because I think Ash ends up meeting someone, and then they end up facing each other after. But I believe that we're taking a break from the matches for a week next week, if I'm correct.
Yes.
So, all right.
Can confirm.
You can confirm. Okay. Yeah. I was pretty sure he didn't face anybody next week. So, all right. But you guys have waited until the end of this episode. I am going to open a Evolving Skies booster pack from Sword and Shield. And C Note, I'm going to ask you, what card or what energy card do you think I'm going to pull? I'm gonna give you, since I know you don't play Pokemon. There's ground, fire, water, lightning, steel, psychic, and I might be missing one. But
Grass.
yeah, grass. There you go. 7. All right. So, which energy card am I looking at?
Fire.
Fire. It is not fire. It is lightning this week. But I have a lightning energy, a Wobbat, a Seedot, a Swablu, a Psyduck, a what is this? A Raggenrola? Raggenrola? Okay. I have a Scrafty. I have a Rescue Carrier trainer card. I have an Amora Lady trainer card. My reverse holo is a Ice Cube, and my rare is a non-holo Lilligant. So a dud pack this week, everybody. But
Well, poop.
yeah, I know. But those are the cards this week. And I'd like to thank you again, C-Note, for coming on and helping us out on our month of guests. We have had 4 straight guests on these Pokemon League episodes. Next week, it's back to just me and you, Doug. We're back. We're back to doing a twosome. All these three person episodes are coming to an end for right now.
I didn't know you guys were that way. But wow. You know somebody for a while, but I guess not.
Well, he's been in the house a while. I mean, you can only do so much.
I know, for real. But I do want to go down. I want to personally thank premium Patreon subscriber Grant for coming on this month. I also want to thank Carl Dutton, creator of the X-Men and Power Rangers audio
Audio drama.
There you go, audio drama. I could not get that out. And Jared for making his first appearance last week, and you for ending it this month with C-Note. So I want to personally thank all 4 of you for coming on, and we thoroughly enjoyed having you as a part of the show. So thank you guys. All right. With all that being said, C-Note, before we sign off, do you have anything else that you would like to say?
I don't think so. Thanks for having me again. It's a lot of fun. Like I told you guys, last week when we saw each other, I started listening to the podcast because got a long commute to work every day now, sitting on the train, so need to find things to do, and started reading my Moxley book on the train this week, so thank you for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. All right, but all right, well, say goodbye to our audience,
Goodbye, audience.
All right, and Dougie Fresh, say goodbye, Doug.
Goodbye, Doug.
If you're listening to this on the free feed and you want to hear next week's episode, it's already up there. Go and subscribe to Patreon, patreon.com/everypokemon, and you'll be able to subscribe to any of the tiers there. We have tiers where you can get Pokemon packs mailed over to your home. You can even become a guest on this show. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, and I will see you next week. Have a good night.